What's up guys, I'm going to be making a Santa suit for my 12-foot Jack Skellington. I decided to voice over the rest of this video because it became really long, so I bought 7 3/4 yards of red fabric. That's including the extra piece that was in my arms. I moved Jack's suit so I can lay the red fabric out flat on the floor. I had the inside of the fabric facing up. I put Jack's suit back on top of the red. I made sure his suit was centered to the middle of the fabric. I started marking 2 to 3 inches away from the suit with a black marker, and then I stopped once I got a little past the waist because that's where I was going to cut the leg fabric to wrap around his legs. I also have to make sure I don't cut the legs up too high, so I make a mark where to stop, and I start cutting the legs apart and make sure to stop at my mark. Moving to the arms, I had to turn the suit to keep the arm straight and mark the length to where to cut it from the leg piece. And then I folded it over to copy the cut to the other side of the suit so they would be even. I moved to the shoulder to be able to fold over the arm, then separate the arm from the body. I folded the fabric over the legs so I can cut off the excess. I keep the suit in the fabric and I pull over the excess to sandwich the suit and cut the piece going past the waist off. Then I fold it in half to copy the shoulder cut I made on the other side, also separating the arm fabric from the body. There's a lot of folding over and cutting around, but I had moved the suit out of the way to cut it the other way, fold it over, once it's all cut to fit. I put the suit facing the one full piece and the cut side is for the back of the suit. I start by gluing the sides of the suit from the armpit to the hips, gluing the suit inside the red fabric so I can make sure it's an exact fit. I try my best to keep the glue off of the suit so I'm able to take the suit out after I'm done. I made one mistake when cutting, but luckily I was able to use the same fabric to cover the hole. Then I start gluing the legs from bottom up. I'm not live, I'm making a video right now.
Did you see me?
Yeah, I can see your face. Little RT wanted to say hi to y'all. But I did both legs and covered the hole perfectly. Then I cut the hole for the collar and the slit in the back to be able to put the suit onto the display body. Then I secured that hole with the velcros. I cut the exact same length of his suit and I cut the velcros in pieces. I glued them down evenly spaced out. When I get to the top, I cut the circle of the neckline and I go down his shoulders to make the angle it's in and cut the excess off. I then decided it would be easier to cut the arm fabric off and glue that down in the angle the suit is in so I wouldn't make wrinkles in it. I glued the arm in the angle the suit's arm is in and cut the pieces that go over the arm. I lay the suit arm out and fold the red fabric over it, cutting the excess to make the seams and glue it down. I do the same for the other arm. I had lost a clip of me tracing the tail, but I traced it onto some excess fabric from earlier and cut it on top of another piece to make both sides of the tail at the same time. I made the mistake of gluing the middle of the tail all the way up because then I'd had to separate some of it to glue it to the back. I made sure that there was enough around the edges so I'm able to fold it over and not have it be a blunt cut. I moved to the bedroom because the garage got really cold, and then I started off by cutting the excess fabric that was behind the arm of the suit to finish the arms off. This is where I was telling y'all about the tail I had glued too far up, so I had to cut it down a bit till it can be able to match where the suit opens and closes. And then after that, I glued it down. And after that, I moved on to making his black belt around his waist. I cut a piece of black fabric and folded it inward so it wouldn't have blunt cuts, and glued it from the center of the front around his waist. The black cloth, I cut that to go around his ankles, so I glued those down and then cut them to separate them and then attached it to the suit because in the movie it shows he has like long black boots. That did take quite a bit of time doing both of the legs. So then after that, I moved on to connecting the fur at the top of the boots around each boot. And then I also added a piece of white fur onto his collar to match where his bow tie would be on the other jacksuit. And then I also added a piece of Velcro to the back of that white fur collar so it can be tied around his neck. Then I also cut some fur pieces for the cuffs around his arms, so it'll match a Santa suit from the movie. And then the last thing left to do on his suit was the gold belt buckle, which I made out of a glitter cardstock. I measured the shape that I wanted for the size of a belt buckle because obviously they don't sell giant belt buckles. Measured it, then cut it, and then glued it to the center of the belt. And then with a black marker, I made the illusion of it being in the shape of an actual buckle. And that was it. That was the whole suit set up. So now we're gonna move into the garage where I'm gonna show you guys what I did.
What's up guys? So I've already completed Jack Skellington's Santa suit. This is his suit. Right now I am about to start setting up some Christmas lights that he's going to be holding. Like they're huge Christmas lights. Let me show you. I basically already started it. I got these styrofoam things from Home Depot. They're like $1.70 each. I just basically twisted them and I got these little Christmas lights. I think they were $7 each. I got all 4 colors. So it was red, blue, white, and green. And I started doing it last night, but then I was like, I can really include this in my video because he's going to be holding it. So I'm just basically going to show you guys how I attach it and what I used to make it. So I am spacing them out at every 2 feet and I lost my tape measure. So I'm going to use this as a guide. So I put it here to the last one and then to here. This is 2 feet. So I'm going to go try out the next one by putting this here. And by the way, there's 2 pipes, so each time I'm coming down and changing the light, I'm changing it which pipe it's on. So from this one, twisting them as I go from here to the next pipe, this one is right here. This is 2 feet. And these things have like a slit in the middle, straight down, and I open it and then I take the next light bulb, which is green. Okay, so I zoomed you guys in a little bit and it was a little too dark. I'm gonna take the hook and puncture a hole into the styrofoam, and then with the hot glue gun, I'm going to glue it down on the inside of it. And I'm also going to put some glue on top of the hook. I'm also going to glue the slit to hold it into place. And after I'm all done, I'm going to spray paint everything green to match like green extension cords. I'm also going to glue the middles of them so they don't come undone as I go down. I'm gluing the in-betweens of them. I might actually speed this up a little bit so it doesn't take up too much time. And then I'm going to show you guys how I connected to make them longer so they don't come apart. Okay guys, I am at the point where I can show you guys how to connect these two together. What I did was, I basically set up my duct tape like this. Okay, so I'm going to lay out my tape like this on the floor. I'm going to sit one right in the middle of it and the other one will go next. But first, I put hot glue onto the tip of it where they connect together, like so. Then I will press in the other one and I use the tape to wrap it together. And I'm going to wrap around it a couple times to make sure it's like really secure. And then cut. There is one set up together. Setting up the tape and putting it underneath the half of my styrofoam. And then lowering them and then taping them together and tape it all around. That is it for this connection, and I will continue adding the rest of my lights. Oh, this is our Jack. He is stuck in the tree right now, and we will start to get him dressed because he's naked.
So I had taken Jack out from the tree and laid him on the floor so we could put his new suit on.
While they look for their forehead, I'm going to spray these lights, the cord, green.
I actually had my friend help me spray the lights while I quickly glued Jack a new longer Santa hat. I had crocheted one last year, but I didn't like it. I felt it was too small, but I made his new hat out of leftover red fabric and the white fur to make the trim and beard, because in the movie he had a really long beard. Here I was looking for where to place the beard to the hat, and it was ready to stand. My man helped me pick him up and set him nicely on the lawn. I also had the bright idea to make my skeleton into a reindeer, but it ended up getting too dark and I never actually finished it. While I did that, they were putting the Christmas lights into Jack's hands and onto the tree, as if he's placing them. After a while, I had to go help try and make it look spiraled on the tree, and finally, I plugged in the Christmas tree inflatable and I was done. Apparently the wind here in Georgia was a little too strong and he kind of knocked over my Jack and broke his ankles. Quite literally. But, you know, it's okay. At least I had him up for a couple days, but I hope next year I'll be able to fix this and have him up for longer. Thank you guys so much for watching. See y'all next time. This is a clip I got from my phone after he's been already set up and all the lights in the house were on.